A very warm welcome to all the CA Foundation students. You requested for a video on quasi contract, and here I am discussing the entire concept in detail. We are going to study the meaning of quasi contracts, the features and types of quasi contracts with examples so that you can remember the concept till your exam. In case you're watching my video for the first time, I am CA Preeti Agarwal and I make videos specially for you. If you want me to make video on a particular concept, do leave that in the comment section below and I will definitely make a video on that. For more such concept videos for the entire syllabus and pen drive lectures, you can visit my website theorymasterslearning.com. We have a wide variety of lectures, books and test series. Quasi contract. Now the word quasi means that it is just like a contract. It is just like, it resembles a contract. This is not an actual contract. Why? Because one or the other essential element is missing. Sometimes you will not find offer acceptance. Sometimes you will not find competency of parties. But even then, law says that there is a contract. Let us understand this with the help of an example. A, by mistake, left goods at the house of B. Okay, left goods by mistake. A wanted to deliver goods to C, but by mistake left the goods at the house of B. B is very happy. Free mein goods aa gaye. He used the goods. Law says that B, since you have used the goods, you will have to pay for it. It is your obligation to either return the goods, but if you don't and you use it, this is just like a contract. If you have used the goods, you will have to pay for it. Over here, A never offered the goods to B. B did not provide his acceptance. Even then, there is an obligation on B to pay for the goods. If you have used the goods, you will have to pay for it. This is an obligation created by law. It is imposed by law. Parties never intended to enter into contract. There is no offer. There is no acceptance. Even then, because you have used the goods, you will have to pay for it. See, A never wanted to gift the goods to B. It was not a gift. In this case, A was expecting to receive money against the goods. Although he was not expecting to receive it from B, but because B has used the goods, he will have to pay for it. B, you cannot enjoy at the expense of A. You cannot say, "Arey, tu to galti se goods rakh gaya tha na. So it is mine now." You can't consider it to be yours. You can't enrich yourself at the expense of other. If you have used the goods, you will have to pay for it. This is very similar to a contract. So even though there is no offer, there is no acceptance, law says that if you have used the goods, you will have to pay for it. Such type of contracts are known as quasi contracts. So in case of quasi contract, it is just an obligation. It is just a duty imposed by law. Parties never intended to enter into contract. Law बोलता है situation ऐसी है कि तुम्हें advantage हुआ है. It is a contract. If you have if you have gained the benefits, you will have to pay for it. If you have enjoyed the benefits, you will have to pay for it. It is an obligation or a duty imposed by law upon a person for benefit of the other. यहाँ पर B, you have used the goods, you will have to pay for it. You have gained the benefit, you will have to pay for that benefit. There is absence of contract. There's no offer. There's no acceptance. Sometimes parties may not be competent to contract, but law says under certain circumstances, this is very similar to a contract. It's a quasi contract. It resembles a contract. All the essential elements except one or two are absent. Doesn't matter. All the provisions of contract will apply. Even the provisions of breach will apply. So if in this case B fails to pay for the goods, A can file a case and recover it. So provisions applicable for breach to a similar contract will apply to such quasi contracts also. Let us see what are the features of quasi contract. Now students, you may feel that this is not very important for exam, but you're wrong. Recently, Institute has started asking a separate question on features of quasi-contract. So they will ask you what is the meaning of quasi-contract and what are the features of quasi-contract. So yes, you have to memorize these features for exam, can be asked as a theory question. It is an obligation imposed by law. Yes, we agree, parties never intended to enter into contract. Law says that the situation is such that now you have entered into a contract. It's imposed by law. It's an obligation imposed by law. This is also like implied contract, okay, implied by law. It is a duty. It's not a promise because there is no offer. There is no acceptance. There's no promise because there is no offer. They never intended to enter into contract. It's an obligation, it's a duty imposed by law. Law says तुम्हारे बीच में contract हो गया. The right is always a right to money. You cannot ask for anything other than money. Right is available against a specific person, the one who has enjoyed the benefit of your action. A suit for breach may be filed just like any other contract. So you can take action against a person even though there is no offer, there is no acceptance. Just like any other contract, we can take action for breach of contract. So in this case, if B fails to pay for the goods, A can file a case just like in any other contract. So these are the few features of a quasi-contract. Now next, let us discuss the types of quasi-contract. Section numbers are important. Claim for necessaries supplied to a person incapable of contracting, section 68. Right to recover money paid for another person, section 69. Obligation of a person enjoying the benefits of a non-gratuitous act, section 70. So students, try to remember this in sequence. Necessaries, section 68. Money paid for another person, section 69. Non-gratuitous act, section 70. Responsibility of finder of goods, section 71. Liability for money paid or anything delivered by mistake or under coercion, section 72. So all the sections are in a sequence. It is best if you remember the provisions in this sequence so that you are able to remember the section number also. Section 68 to section 72. Very rarely they ask you a question on types of contracts, but yes, there is a possibility. It is an exam question. It has been asked in the past. You can expect case-based question on section 68 and responsibility of finder. Even if a case-based question is asked, you will have to write the theory. So let us go through these provisions in detail and I will also explain it with the help of examples. The first type of quasi-contract is claim for necessaries supplied to a person incapable of contracting. Can you tell me who are incapable of contracting? Yes, it is given under section 11. A minor cannot enter into contract. Person of unsound mind cannot enter into contract. And a person who is disqualified from contracting. Yes? Now, what if I give necessaries to a minor, unsound, or to anyone who is dependent on them? Like, who will be dependent on unsound person? Wife, children. Who will be dependent on, who can be dependent on a minor? Maybe younger sibling, okay, brother, sister, old grandparents, they are dependent on the minor. If you supply necessaries to minor, unsound, or anyone who is dependent on them, वैसे तो nothing can be recovered from minor. Money given to minor cannot be recovered. You cannot enter into contract with unsound person. However, there is a small exception as far as necessaries are concerned. For necessaries, you can claim money, you can claim reimbursement from the property of the minor, from the property of that unsound person. But sometimes students ask me, ma'am, if there is no property, then nothing is recoverable. Anyways, you can't force the minor to be personally liable. यू कांट टेल हिम तेरे पास पैसे नहीं है, यू डोंट हैव मनी, मेरे फैक्ट्री में आके काम कर, मेरे घर पे आके काम कर. यू कांट आस्क हिम टू गिव लेबर इन एक्सचेंज. So if necessaries are supplied to minor or unsound person or to anyone who's dependent, claim can be made from the property. It is possible that you have given him money, go and buy necessaries. Or you have actually gone and supplied necessaries to him, food, clothing, shelter, education. You have actually supplied necessaries. Money can be claimed from the property of such person. And if he doesn't have any property, nothing is recoverable. The second type of quasi-contract is right to recover money paid for another person. We are paying somebody else's obligation. Then later we can recover that from him. There is no offer, there's no acceptance, but even then law says, see, somebody else is paying your obligation. Out of courtesy, at least repay that money to him. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. Now let us discuss an example, and I will discuss one more provision which is important. A is a zamindar. He has given a land on lease to B. There's a spelling error. He has given his land on lease to B. But A has not paid taxes on that land to the government. Revenue is in arrears. Now, if the government wants to recover money, the only way that they have is to sell the land. But under revenue law, if the land is sold, then B's lease will come to an end. Now, B, in order to save his lease, pays taxes to the government on behalf of A. Okay, so B pays taxes on behalf of A. Now, why is he doing this? He is doing it to protect his interest. What is his interest? Land. Yes, very good. To protect his interest. He's doing it to protect his land. He's not making payment just because he's kind-hearted. No, he's not sitting here and doing charity. He is paying money to protect his land, to protect his interest. Law says, listen A, B has paid your obligation. It was your obligation to pay taxes. B has paid. Repay that money to him. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. Okay, this is nothing but a quasi-contract. If somebody else has paid your obligation, first he will pay and then you can later on repay it to him. He can recover it from you. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. A had not requested, there was no offer, there was no acceptance. But because B has paid somebody else's obligation, later on he can recover. Why has he made that payment? Because he's kind-hearted, he wants to help people? No, he has paid to protect his interest. A person in our example, B, who has paid a certain sum of money which another person, A, is obligated to pay. Then such person B is entitled to be reimbursed by that other person A, provided the payment has been made by him B to protect his own interest. So this is one requirement. You are not paying money out of charity. See, when we pay money out of kindness, charity, it's a gratuitous act. We don't expect anything in return. But when you are paying to protect your interest, it's like, okay, I'm paying because my interest is involved. Later on, I will recover it from you. That is a quasi-contract. In case a question is asked in exam, it will be asked on this example only. The next type of quasi-contract is section 70, obligation of person enjoying benefit of a non-gratuitous act. Now, what is the meaning of the word gratuitous? Gratuitous means free of cost, free of charge. We don't expect anything in return. But for a non-gratuitous act, you are expecting something in return, and that is money. The example which I discussed earlier with you. A, by mistake left goods at the house of B. B used the goods. Now it is his obligation to pay for the goods. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. So where a person lawfully does anything for the other person or delivers anything to him, not intending to do so gratuitously, मुझे उसको gift नहीं देना था. I'm not giving him free of cost, free of charge. I want something in return. Then the latter, in my example, B, is bound to make compensation to the former. Former means A. or to restore the things. Either you return what is wrongly delivered to you, or if you have used it, pay for it. Then we have responsibility of finder, section 71, very important for exam. A found a diamond ring at the birthday party of B. He asked many people, whose ring is it? Please provide proof and I'll return the ring to you. Nobody claimed it. He found a diamond ring. He asked everyone for proof, but nobody claimed it. He kept the ring with himself. He bought an electronic safe to keep the ring safely. He tried to find the true owner. He made calls. He published advertisement. I have got somebody's engagement ring or wedding ring. Please provide proof and claim it. He incurred expenses to preserve the goods. Law says that finder doesn't become the owner. He acts just like a caretaker. He acts just like a bailee. Now you must have studied the concept of bailment in consideration. Bailment means to deliver. The person who is delivering the goods is known as the bailer. Person to whom the goods are delivered is known as the bailee. The act of delivery is known as bailment. Bailee is nothing but a caretaker. He doesn't become the owner. Finder doesn't become the owner. He acts just like a caretaker. It is your duty to find the true owner, to return the goods to the true owner. Till then, you can keep the goods with yourself. It is your duty to take care of the goods, to find the true owner, to return it. You also have many rights as a bailee. Right to recover the expenses that you have incurred. Okay, if suppose he has incurred expenses to preserve the goods, he has a right to claim those expenses from the true owner when the true owner is found. True owner is not found, you can even sell the goods. So as a bailee, he has rights, duties. Now listen over here, students. The owner never intended to deliver the goods to A. The owner never intended to give the ring to A for safekeeping. A just happened to find the goods. Law says that there is no offer, there is no acceptance. But since A has taken care of your ring, owner, it is your duty to at least reimburse him the expenses which he has incurred to keep your goods safe. See, he didn't have a locker in his house. So he purchased an electronic safe to keep your goods safely. He tried to find the true owner. He incurred expenses for all that. It is your obligation to at least reimburse those expenses to him. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. Finder, it is your duty to find the true owner, return the goods to him, claim your expenses. All this is possible only if there is some kind of contractual obligation. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. So in case of quasi-contract, there's no offer, there's no acceptance, but even then there is some moral obligation. It's a valid contract. What if owner refuses to pay the lawful charges? We can sell the goods and recover it. We have certain rights. A person who finds goods belonging to the other and takes them into his custody is subject to the same responsibility as that of a bailee. Bailee means here a caretaker. The last type of quasi-contract, section 72. The liability for money paid or anything delivered by mistake or under coercion. Let us take an example for mistake. A and B, they both had to jointly pay 100 rupees to C. Now, A pays 100 rupees to C without telling B, without informing B, and coincidentally, B also pays 100 rupees to C. C is enjoying himself. He got 100 rupees from B and 100 rupees from A. Now in this case, we tell B, don't be very happy. We tell C, don't be happy. It is your obligation to return the money received from B. See, A had already paid money to you. You shouldn't have accepted money from B. If you have, this is nothing but a quasi-contract. He has paid money by mistake without realizing that A had already paid money. So it is your obligation to now return the money to B. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. Let us discuss something about coercion. railways refuse to deliver goods to the consignee except upon payment of unlawful illegal charges, bribe. They are saying if you want us to deliver goods to you, you will have to pay money. So now consignee is put in such a position that he has no option but to pay the bribe. Only then he will be able to claim his goods. He's saying you want the goods, na? You're an urgent requirement. Pay the money, take the goods. This is nothing but coercion. You're putting him in a position that he has no option but to listen to you. So over here, the railways are taking money from him, from consignee forcefully. They're not using some physical force, but they are putting him in such a position that he has no option but to oblige the railways, to do what the railways want. So in this case, law says later on, consignee, prove that you have paid bribe and you can recover money. How will you prove? Nobody gives a receipt for bribe, no? In this case, you can maybe conduct a sting operation. There are many who have paid bribe just like you did. So bring them as witnesses, prove that you have paid money and take back your money. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. There's no offer, there's no acceptance, but law says that railways has now put themselves in a much more advantageous position. Railways is trying to enjoy at the expense of the consignee. This is unjust advantage, unjust enrichment of railways. You will have to return the money to consignee. This is nothing but a quasi-contract. A person to whom money has paid or anything delivered by mistake, then we discussed A and ABC example for that. Anything which is paid under coercion, then that person must repay or return it. This is nothing but a quasi-contractual relation. So we discussed various types of quasi-contracts with examples. The first type is claim for necessaries supplied to unsound or minor, someone who's incapable. Then money paid, obligation paid for another person. Obligation of a person enjoying benefits of a non-gratuitous act. Responsibility of finder and money or anything delivered under coercion or maybe by mistake. All these result into a quasi-contract. Can be asked as a theory question or a case-based question. I discussed everything with the help of examples, and in case a question is asked in the exam, it will be asked on this example only. So students, with this, we complete the discussion of quasi-contract. I hope you liked the video. For more such concept-based videos, subscribe to your channel Theory Masters Learning and hit the bell icon so that you get notifications for all these videos. Also visit my website theorymasterslearning.com for CA books, lectures and test series.